Good evening and welcome to ThaiPBS English News Service. I'm Supachon Klinsuwan. 4 days, the flood situation in Sukhothai Central Business District is finally under control as authorities who are working around the clock have been able to stop the water from further breaching the flood barriers. However, Pisonurok province is now bracing for floods while residents in Chainat, Singburi, Ang Thong and Ayutthaya provinces have begun moving their belongings to higher ground. Some 6,000 rai or almost 600 hectares of farmland in Pisonurok province is now underwater as bad weather continues to pour water in from the northern Sukhothai province. However, crops were harvested before inundation. Locals expect this round of floods in Pisonurok will stay for 2 to 3 months. The irrigation department is dredging nearby canals to help drain water away. After 4 days of the flooding in Sukhothai's downtown area is now under control as authorities worked night and day to close the leak in the flood walls. Local authorities and soldiers will remain on red alert in case of further breaches. Meanwhile, the Meteorological Department is warning residents living near waterways in the provinces of Chainat, Singburi, Ang Thong and Ayutthaya to move their belongings to higher ground as more water is expected, especially when more rain arrives in October. The Meteorological Department is also advising that a ridge of high pressure over the southern China Sea is creating an intense monsoon trough over the north and northeast. Widespread heavy rain is likely over the country with heavy to very heavy showers in parts of the north, northeast, central, east and the southern west coast. People should be aware that severe weather conditions between the 13th and 17th of September may be expected. Today, the Prime Minister was gathering first-hand information on the flood situation in the lower north and upper central regions, as well as handing out survival kits to the flood victims. Meanwhile, the opposition is asking the governments for clarity of how it plans to deal with the floods. The opposition MPs were asking how exactly the government plans to deal with the flood situation in a live debate in Parliament today. They pointed out that Sukhothai's flooding is a direct result of a government's failure in handling the floods. Warawat Pinyakul, minister to the PM's office, replied on behalf of the government that the government is very aware of the situation and is deploying both short and long-term solutions to solve this crisis. The minister reiterated that the flood in Sukhothai was an accident as no one expected the original flood walls would collapse. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra took a helicopter flight to Ayutthaya, Singburi and Nakhon Sawan to witness the flood situation at first hand, to distribute survival kits to flood victims and to meet high-ranking officials. The Prime Minister admitted more farmland will be flooded in Nakhon Sawan and other provinces, but no central business districts areas will be inundated. As for the flood prevention for eastern and western Bangkok, the PM says drainage has been effective on both eastern and western sides, and the situation should be under control. The PM has stressed the need for an accurate and timely warning system, as last year the government was accused of either providing inaccurate information or being too slow in informing the public. With the ongoing flooding in the north of Thailand, PTT confirmed that it does not have any service stations in any of the flood-affected areas. However, it has instructed its service stations located in risky areas to be on high alert. PTT has ordered its petrol service stations in flood-prone areas to be prepared and ready for flooding in provinces such as Chiang Mai, Ayutthaya, Nakhon Sawan and Sukhothai. Pairin Chuchotawan, the PTT chief executive, noted that the national oil conglomerate is applying the lessons learned from last year's floods to avoid logistic problems this year. However, he admitted that he is worried about their ability to transport liquefied petroleum gas, or LPG, especially via rail to the northern provinces, since many stretches of track have been closed for repair work over the past week due to damage caused by flash floods. If railways remain closed, PTT might have to resort to road transport instead. And after one of the Pheu Thai government's rice pledging scheme intended to help farmers by buying rice at 15,000 baht per ton, Dr. Runtip Chodnapalai talked to Associate Professor Somporn Isawilanon, Senior Fellow at the Knowledge Network Institute of Thailand, who said that Thailand is losing competitiveness due to the higher price of rice compared to the neighboring countries. He says that the government has to focus more on long-term planning and invest in research and development for Thai rice.
Then you think that if this continues the same rice purchasing scheme continues using this year?
If it is a disaster,
what are the consequences? Yes.
Disaster for the Thai rice industry, and also we will have huge stock high in domestic market, and by that time it will suffer for the Thai government in terms of losing the government budget.
Any way out?
Government have to eliminate the pledging scheme and using some other alternative instead of stubborn and continuing using prolong this program into the second year.
So who lost and who gained?
Right now, few farmer gain. I accept few farmer gain because 1.2 million household could enter into the program. But we have farmer 3.7, only 1/3 of the farmer enter into the pledging scheme.
But the really small one, they're not really into the pledging scheme.
And medium farmer and large size farmer got benefit from the program at the cost of the society.
So as a whole, what would be the score that you give to the rice purchasing scheme?
I think less than 6 because of if we take into account the corruption from the scheme too, that's a very we couldn't accept for that phenomenon. Because
so 6 out of 10 they passed.
They could pass, but pass at this time because of they could gain popularity from the farmer. But in the next year, in the next few years, I think we will feel the rice industry will be destroyed.
Since yesterday, the Pollution Control Department has been testing samples of water taken from a farmland in Ladkrabang district, which is believed to have been contaminated by a hazardous chemical substance. Department said that the acidity level of the water has reduced and the quality of the water has improved. Yesterday, water in a farmland of Ladkrabang district, which belongs to Somchai Sawat, was found to have been contaminated and red in color. After testing, the Pollution Control Department said that the acidity level of the water has reduced. This can be attributed to the work of the Bangkok Health Office, who sprayed lime in the water to reduce acidity. The pH value of the water in the outer areas of the farmland close to the roads was measured at 4, while water in the inner areas was measured 5. These figures indicate that the water quality is slowly returning to normal. The Pollution Control Department found sulfuric acid has contaminated the water. The test results on samples of soil from the area will be available in less than a week. Authorities also speculated that the hazardous chemicals were not discharged from nearby factories, but were secretly dumped into the farmland during waste transportation. And tomorrow, the committee responsible for selecting the Thai Airways president will propose the board of directors to appoint Sorachak Kasem Suwan as TG president after the candidate passed the selection process. The Transport Ministry will forward the name of Sorachak Kasem Suwan to the board of directors to be considered for the Thai Airways presidency. Among his past positions, Sorachak was the chairman of the State-Controlled Broadcast Enterprise (MCOT) or MCOT, Deputy Finance Minister, and Deputy Minister to the Office of the Prime Minister. He also holds a doctorate degree in international law from the University of London. Sorachak passed the interview process and his presentation on his vision for the company last Monday. If the board of directors approved his candidacy, a committee responsible for negotiating Sorachak's compensation package will be set up. Jamsi Sukchodrat, the president of the Thai Airways Union, noted that the first duty of the newly appointed TG president should be to foster confidence among employees, as many of them are confused about the company's direction. At the same time, the new TG president has to resist any interference from the board of directors in the work of the airline. The union president also indicated that administrating Thai Airways is not an easy task, as the company is fraught with internal politics that have been entrenched in the organization for a long time. The union, however, is willing to cooperate to solve this problem. Today, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, Prince William and Catherine, visited the Kranji War Memorial in Singapore, remembering the 4,458 soldiers who died in World War II.
The royals took part in a somber ceremony to remember the war dead, laying a wreath at a memorial plaque inside the cemetery. They were also taken around to view the graves of the fallen soldiers. Former Singapore military official Roy Mutia said the royal visit raised the profile of Singapore on the international stage.
I think it is very great for us to have visitors like them coming here, because that improves our relationship with the various, not only Dutchess and other great, powerful people come here. They create the opportunity to have business with them. It's good for Singapore.
Prince William and Kate later left Singapore and arrived in neighbouring Malaysia on the second leg of their Diamond Jubilee tour in Asia Pacific to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. The royal couple will stay in Malaysia's capital, Kuala Lumpur, for 2 days before departing for a visit to a rainforest reserve in Sabah State on Borneo Island. While in Malaysia, the couple will meet with Malaysian King Abdul Halim Muazzam Shah and the Prime Minister Najib Razak. This is the first visit from British royals to Malaysia in 14 years. The last visit was made by Queen Elizabeth II in September 1998. Hugh Adams, ThaiPBS.
Thank you, Hugh. And former members of New Zealand's rugby team played elephant polo against the defending champions in the opening match of the elephant polo tournament in Hua Hin today. Elephant riders, known as mahouts, gathered before the match to pay homage to the animals with a holy water blessing for the elephants taking part in the match.
Due to the size of the elephants, each team has only 3 players. They ride their elephants on a marked pitch measuring 100 by 60 meters, using a standard-sized polo ball. The rules are simple and similar to regular polo. Organizers said the proceeds from the event would be donated to organizations involved in elephant welfare in Thailand.
The goal is to raise money for the elephants, for the street elephants of Thailand, and we have a program, and so far we've raised a lot of money through this event, which is directly given to elephants.
The Odomars PJ team is famous in Thailand because its founding member, Christopher Stafford, brought elephant polo to the country in 2001. Former All Blacks team member Charles Reichelman, in his second year on the elephant polo pitch, said the game turned out to be harder than he thought. He was joined by former All Blacks rugby players Robin Brooke and Olo Brown. Various former All Blacks team members have been taking part in this elephant tournament since 2006. Defending champions Audemars Piguet won the match on Thursday with a score of 11-7. After the opening match, pineapples, banana, papaya and other kinds of fruit and vegetables were given to the elephants as a reward. The 5-day tournament in Hua Hin will end on Sunday. Hugh Adams, ThaiPBS.
And that's all the time we have for tonight's edition of ThaiPBS English News Service. If you'd like to join our team, please do check out our website, thaipbs.or.th, and send your resumes to jobs@thaipbs.or.th. I'm Subhajoy Klinsawan saying good night. สวัสดีครับ